The X-Files was cool. You know, it's real, it's intelligent, and it's cool, and it's interesting, it's provocative, but it really is just exciting entertainment for legions of fans who, they work all day and they're like, work sucks, man. I just cannot wait to dip into the X-Files tonight.
I was on Melrose Place, and I would sit in my trailer and watch the show on Friday nights, and it was the highlight of my week. And I thought, God, how do I get on a good show like that? How do I get on that? Because it was so original and so good and unusual. I like the really funny ones.
Where I live in the Philippines, all we get is Baywatch.
What's wrong with Baywatch?
You've got a dirty mind.
Is that a hound I hear baying out in the moors?
No, actually, that was a left cheek sneak.
They had to make me a whole new mouth. Do you think Blue Cross is going to pay for this?
Have you ever found a metal implant in your body? You checked everywhere? Scully, would you think less of me as a man if I told you I was kind of excited right now? Scully.
Mulder, what's wrong?
Oh, nothing's wrong. I'm just at that special place, and I wanted to share it with you.
Did you know that through the protective Chinese practice of Tiu Bushan, you can train your testicles to drop into your abdomen?
Oh, I'm doing that as we speak.
You'd be surprised how many women find my size intriguingly alluring.
And you'd be surprised how many men do as well.
We differentiate species by their genitalia. Oh my God.
Is it abnormal?
I'll say he's hung like a club-tailed dragonfly.
It's different, and it's really intelligent, and it's really, there's lots of strange secret pockets in it.
She wants the same red, like mine.
I'm in a boxcar, buried inside a quarry. There are bodies everywhere.
Bodies?
Stacked floor to ceiling.
What happened to them?
I don't know.
Bring it home. Come on. Right here.
I'm hungry.
My sister, who's a huge, huge, huge fan, my sister, my brother-in-law, and I watched one that just totally blew me away. I mean, completely blew me away. It was about these kind of strange deliverance kind of brothers, and they had their mom under the floor. And it was just, I was just sitting there like, oh my God, this is so freaky, but I couldn't take my eyes off of it. And then I saw the one that they did on me, and I loved that. I thought that was great. I didn't want to do it when I first read it because I thought, oh, this is going to be cheesy. I wanted them to ask me to come on and act, but then they just wanted me to come on and sing. Had I known, had I seen the quality of it, I would have done it in a heartbeat. But just reading it and then thinking, well, there's no part here for me. I kept looking for, something, but then just to kind of come on and be myself, it wasn't anything I wanted to do until I saw it, and then I thought, oh shit, I should have done that.
The postmodern Prometheus, the black and white episode, was just wonderful, and contains my favorite moment of the entire 9 seasons, when the chick who's supposed to be Cher, who's performing at the end, is on stage, and then he stands up, and Scully's still sitting, and he goes like this, and she takes his hand, they start dancing. Fantastic moment, totally not really in keeping with how you've seen those characters portrayed in most of the other episodes, but it was really just kind of wonderful celebratory moment. I'm glad they don't do it more, because then you wouldn't appreciate that moment as much as you did when it happened. When I met Duchovny, I told him that we have these 2 Labrador retrievers that we named Scully and Mulder, and he was like, "Oh, that so bums me out." I was like, why? He was just like, oh, God, I don't want to hear that. Just pretend you didn't tell me you got dogs named Scully and Mulder. But we got them, me and my wife, when she was a huge fan of the show as well.
Well, she's wearing my outfit.
How embarrassing.
There would always be people when I would say, like, I love that show, they're like, why don't you write one? I said, I can't. I'm not talented enough to write one of those episodes. Like, whether it be a mythology episode or whether it be just kind of a one-off that wasn't kind of, you know, a link in the mighty chain. They were incredibly well written, so much so that I was just totally intimidated by them. It was one of those programs into our movies where you sit there going, like, I so love it and I could never do it myself, and that makes me love it even more.
Later, dude.
The thing that is so funny is just what a phenomenon it became, because when I got there, you know, I talked to David, and they had just gotten their pickup, and my first impression of him was just that he smelled really bad, because he was filming this scene where he was running on a track, and they had him run and run and run and run and run for hours and hours, and all I thought was, oh man, this is going to be a hard show to shoot. I'm just going to be running the whole time. And inevitably I was. We did this scene where we're running from Mulder and Scully across this really uneven field, and we ran all night long. I stank pretty bad too by the end of it. I'm fascinated by sci-fi, so it was exciting to get to work on something like this that dealt with aliens and conspiracies and that sort of thing. I felt really separate from it. I never thought, ooh, I was part of this or responsible for it or, you know, in any way connected, because I was in the first episode. I was just like a goofy stoner guy making Mulder and Scully laugh.
Fox Mulder, Tom Colton.
I was in the third episode ever called The Squeeze, and Doug Hutchinson actually played the guy who comes out of hiding every 30 years and can kind of break himself down and go through tiny vents. So I went up to Vancouver to do this third episode, and you know, I met Dave and Jillian and everybody, and and Chris Carter, and it was so cool because they had done 2 episodes, but they didn't know what they had on their hands yet.
Well, what kind of name is Mulder anyway? What is it, like Jewish?
Excuse me?
Jewish it is, right?
It's Mr. Mulder to you peanut-picking bastard.
I had to get some information from David, and he was supposed to write his information on a notepad or an envelope and hand it to me, and during the scene. And take after take, he would write one different line or another, all filthy, all pertaining to life on the inside if we were in the big house. And I can't even repeat it but each time it was a challenge to my acting experience not to crack up. It was a lot of fun.
Well, on behalf of the International Jewish Conspiracy, I just need to inform you that we're almost out of gas.
When I worked on the show, Rob Bowman was the director, and I was asking him some questions that became painfully obvious that I had never seen the show. And he looked at me like, you jerk off, you know, how could you come and do this show like in a fun way, you know? But I quickly went out and paid $8 to go see his movie, the X-Files movie, which I liked and which answered a lot of my questions.
That official FBI business? It was an interesting role in that there was an enormous amount of exposition. And what Chris basically told me was, he said, I want you to make a human being out of this guy who is saying a lot of stuff. And he said, I'd also like him to be credible and crazy at the same time. And I said, well, wait a second. I said, if you're credible, you're not crazy, and if you're crazy, you're not credible. He said, yeah.
When they approached us to do the theme, we were really excited because we were big fans of the show, and we wanted to be involved somehow. And the theme was really cool, and they just sort of gave us carte blanche to do whatever we wanted with it, which was great.
Yeah, the theme is just such a great composition, a great signature melody, and a signature use of sound, to use that kind of whistle sound. Mark Snow did a really wonderful job of creating like a whole trademark sound and riff for that show.
That was Detective Manners. He said they just found your bleeping UFO.
You're feeling very sleepy, very relaxed. Alex Trebek, the game show host?
We had a contestant on Jeopardy one time who said to me during the interview portion, "Can I touch you?" And I said, "Certainly. Why is that?" She said, "Because you touched David Duchovny on the X-Files." Hey, I've arrived. I knew nothing about the episode prior to arriving in Vancouver. They picked me up the morning of the shoot. I got into a car in the back seat. I was sitting behind a rather massive human being wearing a cowboy hat in the front passenger seat. And I heard his voice, and I said, "That sounds a lot like Jesse the Body Ventura." And he turned around and said, "Hi, Alex." He didn't have much hair then. He had a little pigtail, sort of. And we went off and filmed our scene. And it's amazing. We were the men in black. We were the original men in black. Forget about Smith and Jones. It's Trebek and Ventura.
You somehow brazenly declare, seeing is believing?
Well, if you'll remember, I played a ghost who had a big hole in his head. So they cast around and looked for actors with big holes in their head, and they found me.
We need to show them just how lonely Christmas can be.
Now that's the old Yuletide spirit.
I've always appreciated Lily Tomlin, but to work with her, it was one of those kisses from heaven. I wanted to do the show because I'm a fan. I talked to Chris, and I said, "What am I playing?"
Luciole.
And he said, "God."
Dans le ciel de la nuit.
And I said, "Jesus, this may be it for me, because what can you play after God? You know? It's kind of a rap after Lou Wasserman, maybe."
Ponciana. Je vais chanter pour toi.
I remember hours of special effects makeup, which I'd actually done before, and I think that's the last time, and I hope the last time I ever do it. My eyes were killing me because I had these weird contacts the whole time. And on the very last day of shooting, we realized we were putting them in backwards. So anybody who wears contacts knows that that's like having like grains of sand in your eyes the whole time. So that was my less pleasant memories of that, plus how cold it was. The pleasant ones were that, you know, the whole company, the crew and the actors were all really great to work with, and the director, Kim Manners, was spectacular.
My very first show was the last show being shot in Vancouver. So I run in like, "Hey, this is great, I'm here." And everybody's like, "Huh?" So it was a very schizophrenic week because, you know, I was very excited to be on the show and very excited to be there. And they were going through this grieving process. It was the last episode and having to say goodbye to all the crew. And I was really, you know, not a part of that. So it was affecting and it was moving, but it was also kind of weird to be part of that dynamic. I was a big fan of the show, along with millions of other people. So it was really fun to be working on it, and it was interesting because every time I had an episode that aired for the next week, I would just be bombarded by people wherever I went. It's amazing, you know, the power that a successful show has in terms of the public.
Oh, God.
What? What do you see?
He's got a knife. It's got blood on it.
I get recognized all the time for Clyde Bruckman. It's amazing, and it's continuous. And even now that the show is going off the air, it just continues.
I've never really been that fazed by meeting other actors or other professionals, peers, as it were. But when I walked onto the set, I was like, ha, Mulder and Scully, neat. Just because I had been a huge fan.
I could see straight through to his ass.
I wish that I could turn invisible at will.
I mean, like everywhere I went, people would not yell out like Alias said. They're like, dude, X-Files. I loved your X-Files. X-Files, Invisible. They hit by the truck, the yellow.
Hey, yeah, rip off your thumb. Hey, let me see you grow a new head. That kind of stuff. Oh, Leonard. That kind of stuff. Yeah, I still get it.
And a lot of times they don't. It's like, dude, do I know X-Files? And then they can't speak.
That's my next wish. Wish number 2, I wish Anson could talk.
Done.
Congratulations to the X-Files, and to Chris Carter, who, by the way, is one of the nicest guys from the beginning to the end.
He's such a good director. I mean, I've been doing this for 40-some years, and there's only a couple guys, one has passed away, that I really would like to work with again. And Chris is as good as anybody.
It was nice to see a producer-creator acting so liberated. And if he wasn't, certainly making sure not to pass on the pressure to his performers. That was enormously commendable.
I'm happy to be recognized as Clyde Bruckman. I'm happy to be recognized as the part of the X-Files, and I always check it out. It's a lot of fun.
Thank you guys very much for letting me be a part of that epic show. It really was a great thing to be able to say I was a part of, and really a lot of fun to do.
It was a very compelling show. It will continue to be a compelling show because I think it will have a very long life. And I think Chris Carter did something really right.